Hi, I'm Chad Greenwald. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, but I moved to Columbus when I went to Ohio State. I was a music major. I have 3 degrees in jazz studies, classical performance, and music education. I've been in all different types of bands, symphonies. I've also done booking and arrangement and transcribing, but also most recently, I opened up School of Rock Columbus right here in Columbus, Ohio. Here are 2 incredible accomplishments I think I've done in my career. Number 1, I think it was 2010, the summer, I got to go on tour with one of my idol's best friends. I'm a bassist, so one of the main people that people love is a guy named Jaco Pastorius. He has a group called Weather Report. If you don't listen to jazz or fusion, probably don't know him, but he's incredible. But he passed away too soon, like a lot of great musicians. And I got to go on tour with his best friend, Othello Molyneux, who was one time known as like the best steel pan player in the world. So I got to go do an East Coast tour with Othello. I got to learn so many stories about Jaco and just his life, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. One of my other favorite moments as a musician might not really be like big or stadiums, but it was more about being in a band where I got to be in a band with my best friends. I joined a band, Zack Attack, about 6.5 years ago now, and I've never been in a band where I just loved everyone, and that's really a hard thing because, in bands there's always arguments and difference of opinions, and with this band we really are in lockstep, and we've played over 600 shows now. So yeah, Zack Attack was pretty fantastic. As I said earlier, I'm a bassist, so when I think of musicians, I think of bassists first a lot of the time, and one of my favorite musicians from Ohio, still lives in Cincinnati, is a guy named Bootsy Collins. According to James Brown, he was the funkiest one that's ever lived. Not only did Bootsy do, Parliament Funkadelic, P-Funk All-Stars, all that, but he's also the bassist for James Brown. Not a lot of people know that. I got to hang out with him at the NAMM show a long time ago, probably 2012 maybe. Got to hang out, talk with him about football and music, and just learned a lot about him. And he is just such a great musician. And, for creativity, I would also say Trent Reznor as well. He is maybe not one of my idols, but I really think he's an incredible musician and just has a really creative mind. And then a close third are the Isley Brothers, because what would life be without the Isley Brothers? So, my first performance, I remember very well. I just learned how to play bass about 3 months before that, and I picked up a show at a place called the Rhythm Room. The Rhythm Room was in Cleveland Heights on Cedar and Taylor. It does not exist anymore. I might have drank underage there many times beforehand. I was in a reggae type band. I think we called it the Matt Garabak Implosion. No, I lied. This was Fire Sauce. Fire Sauce. I remember because there was it was in a downstairs area, and there were people look down on you when you perform, and I was a really big hippie back then, so I was wearing no shoes on the scuzziest floor. And yeah, I play with this dude that is killing the world right now, and he's a great guitarist that's actually traveling the world currently as we speak as a musician. I only played for 3 months. We were playing Herbie Hancock and the Chili Peppers and a bunch of other stuff. And I remember it was midway through a song, some dude tried to spit on me. So yeah, that was my first live performance. But the first time I really felt like a true musician was I was in a group called Scarlet Conviction. It was an original hard rock band with a female singer. They were based out of Dayton, which is also home of the Ohio Players. They're incredible. But I would travel a couple times a week for rehearsal, and that's when it finally really clicked to show the importance of music. So we played music, and we somehow picked up a really large Australian fan base. Still not sure how that happened, but we did. And we would get emails, they like, we love your music, but there was one day an email came in that said, I heard one of your songs and it saved me from killing myself. And honestly, at that moment, it really hit me really strong on how important and how powerful and how deep music goes for some people. So, I have probably played at 100 to 300 venues. I don't know. I lost count. But my favorite, I have two favorite venues. The one that I currently play at is called O'Neill's. That is in Lexington, Kentucky. I know it's not Ohio, but it's close-ish. They're incredible. They treat you right. Great sound, great people, great fan base. But I remember the first time I was really on tour, I was in Baltimore, Maryland. The place doesn't exist anymore. I have no idea what it was called, but it was like the first time I felt like I was treated right. I had a green room. We had our own butler that would bring us stuff. I was like, what is going on? This is right. That was with a band called This Day Forever. That was a great band. Alternative, fun rock. There's a great photographer still in town. His name's Paulie Cunningham. He was the singer of that band, who we actually got to, Paulie did his solo stuff, and I actually got to go travel to New York City, and I got to record at a place called the Magic Shop. The Magic Shop is in Soho, and it's actually where David Bowie recorded his last album, where Coldplay recorded a couple of their big famous albums, and a bunch of other people. And that was really cool to feel just the mojo. Actually, the Foo Fighters' last album with Taylor Hawkins was actually recorded there as well. So there was a lot of mojo in that room, and that was very, very, very fun experience. My advice for musicians, and I'm going to go to this camera for it. No, I know I'm being silly. But my advice for musicians is this. Work. That's all you do is work. Morning, afternoon, night. You don't stop working ever. You hustle. Because if you're not hustling, no one else is hustling for you. So you might get less sleep. You might not look as pretty. Obviously. Duh. But to make it in Ohio and any other city, you have to work hard. You don't make it in any kind of industry unless you work. And that's all I can say. Work, 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 work. And in Ohio, you have to work. And Ohio is a great music scene. We have some of the best musicians in the world. I hands down, I don't care what anyone else says. You can try to get to LA, Nashville, whatever, but you know what? Why? You're going to just leave there anyway. Columbus is I live in Columbus, but I've played all over Ohio. Columbus has a wonderful scene. I have made some of the best friends and greatest musicians. Bands from Columbus, 21 Pilots, they're from here. They're killing it. I have my buddy Brandon Chapman. He's out in LA right now, but the only reason he got out there is because he was on tour with oh man, I knew I should have answered this earlier. Who's the mumble rapper? Juice WRLD. Juice WRLD. He's on tour with Juice WRLD. He's done stuff with John Legend, also from Ohio, from Springfield. We have some of the best musicians here, and I don't want to hear it from anyone else. As a working musician, you're always doing a lot of different things. Well, right now, I'm in a band called Zacatech, which I mentioned earlier in this interview. I also book for many different venues, as well as the Columbus crew. And I do transcriptions and arrangements. You always, like I said earlier as well, you have to work. You do everything. But my latest project, if you don't see this behind me, says School of Rock Columbus. School of Rock Columbus is a performance-based music program. So what we do is we take students, from ages 3 to adults, and we put them in programs where they not just have their private lesson, but they actually get to play in a band, which is the entire point of playing, one of these instruments, right? Playing a band. We get them out into different venues all over the city and farther. We're going to take tours eventually with this group. So School Rock is a great place. If interested, go to schoolrock.com and hit up the location of Columbus. We're pretty fantastic. I'm one of the owners. We have another owner who's an incredible drummer. Like I said earlier, I have a music education degree, so I make sure that the school is based off of education first, because I want people to actually learn. It's really important to me. So, social media is very difficult to deal with, but I'm killing it for the School Rock page. So, for Instagram and Facebook, it is at School Rock Columbus. If interested in my personal exploits, it's at Chad Greenwald for Instagram. We also have a webpage for this, www.schoolrock.com/locations/Columbus, or my personal page, which is www.chadgreenwald.com. Or you can call the school, 614-686-7625. That's 614-686-7625. Or stop on by.